Liberal Viewer presents.
So when my right-wing polypop colleague Steven Crowder posted an article to the Fox News website last weekend, I actually agreed with his main argument against Huffington Post columnist Jennifer Nagy's suggestion that the minimum legal age to marry should be 25 years old, though I disagreed with some of Steven Crowder's rhetoric, calling Jennifer Nagy a, quote, vapid, valueless leftist, unquote, and arguing she had been, quote, living life like a dime store floozy, unquote, which to me seemed just mean and went too far. But Steven Crowder really went too far the next day when he appeared on Fox and Friends and took the extreme position that there should be no minimum age for marriage, as you can see when he answered a question from Fox News host Allison Camerata in this clip.
Think of how much you've changed throughout your teens. Think of how much you've changed throughout your 20s. Is there some age that is too young for marriage?
No.
Now, hold on a minute. There are really good reasons to have a minimum age for getting married, like the global problem of child bride shown in the 2007 PBS documentary Child Bride: Stolen Lives, or the exploitation of children by some American religious groups documented on the website helpthechildbrides.com, but Steven Crowder used some of the same faith-based arguments used by those religious groups exploiting children in the continuation of his answer to Fox News host Allison Camerata here.
There's a moral bar that needs to be set. And people don't like it. It sounds, oh, are you judging somebody? Yeah, I am making a judgment. When it comes to marriage, I'm making very in-depth and harsh judgments because that is absolutely a life decision. We're told that, oh, you need to discover yourself. You need to grow by yourself. Well, really, what are you doing? You're learning how to grow by yourself, how to grow apart from one another, rather than learning how to grow up with your wife or with your husband. The book I read, and yes, my faith dictates my values, so some people, be careful. You're about to be offended here, says the woman of my youth. Why would I want to marry someone after I've learned how to live alone? It's only going to be harder for us to merge our lives.
Now, Steven Crowder went on to argue in favor of things like premarital counseling, which could include the kind of religious counseling some of those child brides get, making me unsure if Crowder recognized the implications of having no minimum marriage age. So I tweeted to Steven Crowder, pointing out his position supports those who exploit child brides, and I even asked him if his opposition to any age of consent for marriage means he also supports the North American Man-Boy Love Association, or NAMBLA, an awful group that favors lowering the age of consent for sexual relationships between men and boys, but I got no answer from Steven Crowder, even though in his Fox and Friends appearance he specifically said this.
I know I've said some things that might offend people, so if people are offended, they can always tweet me at @scrowder. I think I mumbled there. Tweet me at @scrowder, and I'll be sure to tell them why they're wrong.
Now, that sounded like a promise to answer criticism on Twitter to say why it's wrong, so Steven Crowder's lack of an answer to my tweets makes me wonder if his opposition to any minimum age for getting married intentionally includes support for child brides and even NAMBLA, but I want to know what you think. Does opposing any minimum age of consent for marriage mean support for child brides and even NAMBLA? And on the main question, what age, if any, do you think should be the legal minimum for getting married?
I YouTube, you decide.